So recently, an interview from the creators of One Piece and My Hero Academia was released. It was a very long interview, and I'll have it linked in the description below so you could check through the entire thing for yourself. It was actually pretty insightful, to be honest with you. But there was a couple lines in there that kind of had me a little bit interested as far as My Hero Academia's creator and his ambitions to where he's trying to take the series, but also just seeing a little bit of like this friendly rivalry. Now, to be honest with you, for the longest time, it was always Akira Toriyama as like the big sensei, and then you would have mangaka over time that would come up and kind of be, you know, in that friendly rivalry, but looking up to Toriyama. Now obviously Toriyama, he's really moved and focused in on more so the anime of Dragon Ball and stuff like that, so he's not really a big Jump guy anymore. Of course, Dragon Ball will always be the OG and the biggest thing, you know, one of the biggest things to come out of Jump, but it seems as though the mantle has definitely been passed, the torch has been passed down, and now Oda, Eiichiro Oda, creator of One Piece, is pretty much the new Toriyama, where he's the big sensei, and a lot of people are hoping to catch up to him or surpass him one day. And in this interview, there was a couple of different things where that particular aspect of surpassing One Piece have been discussed, but also some interesting tidbits. I'm going to read a couple of things that I felt very interesting, but especially the stuff of the My Hero Academia creator talking about, you know, trying to surpass One Piece. I guess let's throw the question right there before we even jump into that. Do you think that's even possible as far as like being able to catch up to One Piece or surpass it? I mean, maybe outside of Japan, I think that is definitely possible. Because to be honest with you, One Piece, yes, in Japan, in the East, but especially in Japan, One Piece can't be touched. Like, there's no way. Every series that has come close, they had a good year, Attack on Titan, Seven Deadly Sins, all of these series, they came close, but then the following year, once the big hype of that first season died down, the series dropped down and wasn't nowhere near close to One Piece. While One Piece continues to successfully be at the top, a lot of these series that came close just didn't measure up. I'd say the closest thing that consistently, not necessarily on pace to passing in One Piece or that close, but I'd definitely say in its heyday, Naruto was kind of up there as far as like it was always consistently selling a lot to the point of putting it at like number 2 or number 3. Obviously towards the end, a lot of other series came up and exploded, and an era changed where we were getting a lot more seasonal stuff and the hype would just be absolutely tremendous. But I would definitely argue that Naruto was probably one of the closest things to consistently being up there and trying to come up to One Piece. Obviously it never happened, and One Piece just, again, in Japan was just the top dog. Outside of Japan, I'd say that's a different story. Again, Oda himself admitted that in Japan, One Piece won. One Piece was the victor, but outside, especially in the West, that Naruto had defeated One Piece, and that's something that he felt kind of regretful in a way of like, man, outside of Japan, he got me. So outside of Japan, there's a huge possibility, because again, One Piece, like even in the West, as big and as popular and as beloved as One Piece is, it's not the biggest seller and it's not the biggest series. Yes, it has a cult following. A lot of us, we love One Piece. We know One Piece's greatness, baby. But popularity-wise, it's just not that up there. I mean, how many times now they've tried to put One Piece on Toonami. They gave it their best shot, and unfortunately the ratings were to the point where they pulled One Piece off of the air. And it's sad because, again, we know how amazing One Piece is, but it just didn't take. So I think it's a big possibility. In fact, to be honest with you, as it stands right now, I want to say My Hero is at the very least close to One Piece in the West, but in Japan is a whole different story. But let's read a little bit of this. So they asked Oda, what are your impressions of Horikoshi sensei? And his reply was, as the face of the next generation of big hit hero artists. And Horikoshi said, I can't believe that. Oda said, my daughter will happily sing the Hero Academia anime theme songs on the bus outings, and it'll get everyone in a good mood. At home, she'll ask, Dad, is your manga going to be okay? She's really worried about One Piece. First of all, that is so freaking cute that his daughter is rooting for Team One Piece, but that also kind of showcases that at the very least, My Hero is making somewhat of an impact when the kiddos are like, yo, My Hero is kind of getting up there. Is it going to pass One Piece? Is it going to take out? Like, again, let's be honest. Like, even the sales of what I see, what My Hero Academia does, like its first week sales, I think the biggest it's done is around, for the first week sales, about 300 something thousand copies I've seen in My Hero Academia. I want to say maybe 330, somewhere around there, right? One Piece, every volume, when it drops, it does like 1.4, 1.8, and that's that it already ships 2 or 3 million copies. So huge, vast difference before we could even, try and make that happen, to be honest with you. It's like their world's different. But again, obviously one, it's a little girl and that's Oda's daughter, so she's gonna root for One Piece. But of course, again, it shows somewhat of an impact that My Hero was having over there, and I'm kind of curious again what it was like in the heydays of, like, the big three, Naruto and Bleach. I don't think Bleach ever really got that close to One Piece, but it was a big contender as well. Nowadays, with these new series cropping up, maybe My Hero is making a splash, especially for the younger kids. I like seeing that because, in case you're unaware, there's a bit of a crisis in Japan as far as there's a lot more people that are old than there are younger people, so that's something that they're battling over there. So to see that the kiddos, the little ones are starting to get into anime and manga, that is pretty dope. And again, see My Hero is making an impact to the point of making Oda's little daughter a little nervous. That's adorable, and also shows that My Hero's making some moves, right? Horikoshi says, I'm thankful to hear that, but it's a bit, and of course he laughs, like, they're very modest in Japan. They're very humble. Then it goes into a little bit of talks about the My Hero Academia movie, but also something big. So let's read right here. They ask, please give the moviegoers a few words, and Horikoshi says, it'll be a lot of fun for those who don't read my manga, and more fun still for those who do. It's a kind of work that anyone can come into and enjoy. The movie is the only way to see a fight where All Might and Deku fight side by side. That is a dope spoiler. So by all means, come on down and have a good time. And then Oda says, let us keep fighting together for popularity and jump from here on in too. And Horikoshi says, of course. No. Again, from what I hear, Horikoshi, even for the reserved and very humble nature of Japanese people, especially like the mangaka, we see they're always very humble and stuff like that. From my understanding, Horikoshi is even more. Like, he is a really humble and bashful kind of guy. So it's gonna be interesting to see some of these words coming up. Oda asks, how many volumes do you estimate the series will be? Horikoshi says, honestly, I thought about 30 or so would be about right, but I hadn't really been counting at all. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say My Hero is like in the 16, 17 volume mark, somewhere around there. So that's still a ways to go. And on top of that, they constantly talk about, like, yeah, series, we might think that it's going to be around that point, but it could be a lot longer. So if he's estimating 30, it could end up being a lot more. And then Oda says, then shoot for about 50, meaning he knows what's about to happen of series going longer than expected. Horikoshi says, can I really do 10 years though? Oda says, rather than if you can, it's more like you'll end up doing it. So pretty much, yeah, he knows. Like, I remember even Kishimoto, when he was doing Naruto, he constantly thought, like, yeah, it's gonna end right here, it might end right here. Look at the Gintama author, he's been saying this for 3 years that it's ending. But again, things get a little more complex, more characters. Shueisha might say, yo, we want more. So yeah, more than likely it'll end up more than 30. And then Horikoshi said, then you had already decided on how many volumes One Piece would have from the start? Oda said, of course, though it's gone about triple my original calculations. Makes sense. Horikoshi says, it is because while you were drawing the series, the amount of things you wanted to portray multiplied. He said they multiplied and broadened. Of course, Oda with that world building and constantly introducing new characters. Yeah, it's gonna go a lot longer. Horikoshi said, yeah, even for me, the sports festival arc was about twice longer than I originally expected. Oda said that's what happens when lots of characters get together and act at once. It really gets difficult to predict how things will go. But I wish you luck on the battlefield that is Jump. Horikoshi says, yes. Oda says, how about a proper response with resolve? And this is right here where I was like, okay, Horikoshi. Horikoshi says, I'll do my best to overcome even One Piece. Oda says, I won't lose, Horikoshi says, as I said it. Thank you very much. So those are some pretty big words and aspirations for the creator of My Hero. You could argue that Oda kind of pushed him a little bit, but he definitely wants to do his best to try and overcome One Piece. To be honest with you, I don't know. Maybe in another 5 years we might see something change, but as it stands right now, I don't see any series, let alone My Hero Academia, surpassing One Piece, just because no matter what series has its boom and it has that first big season. Again, I keep going back to Attack on Titan and Seven Deadly Sins because those were the two series that I saw really came close to surpassing One Piece. And then by the end of the year, they kind of just like had a few thousand less than One Piece. And then the following year, it was like, oh no, they went way down. And My Hero Academia hasn't reached the sales that even those series had at their prime. So My Hero Academia surpassing One Piece in Japan, to be honest with you, as it stands right now, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Maybe in the West is a different story, and outside of Japan, yeah, it could happen because, again, One Piece isn't the same juggernaut that it is in Japan outside, but My Hero, those are some big, heavy shoes to try and walk into. And as it stands right now, I don't see anything surpassing One Piece. Unless One Piece takes a big nosedive and people just really start falling out of it, and One Piece stops selling in the millions in its first week alone and starts doing like 400,000 copies, then it's possible. But until that time, or unless there's a huge explosion, like, I don't know, My Hero kills off a huge character and everybody jumps on board and it's just like on a mainstream level, a total different story, I see My Hero Academia being a big success, but probably not to the same scale as One Piece. I'm curious again what you guys think. Can My Hero Academia overcome One Piece in Japan and outside and worldwide? Do you think it's even possible? Also, what do you think about the interview? Again, full interview in the description below. Get to hear a bunch of different things that they talk about and your overall thoughts of this. Honestly, My Hero Academia, great series, but One Piece, it has a huge fan base. From what my understanding, especially in Japan, that is like the Simpsons of Japan, whereas, like, you know, a 5-year-old can watch One Piece and a 50-year-old can watch One Piece. My Hero, I don't know. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, stalk my Facebook, follow me on Twitch, and make sure to hit the bell to get all notifications. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.
We make a major move, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, but